What's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? I see everybody is coming in the building. We are live. The FGC Simplify community. We are live. We are live. We are live, man. Welcome in the building. What up? What up, YouTube? What's good with it? TikTok, I see y'all in the building too as well. Welcome in, man. Welcome in. Let me give people time to join in. I know that it's going out live too as well. They're letting people know that we are live. The algorithm is going out. What's going on? Tap in with me. What's going on, man? When y'all in the building, let me know. Let me know. Let me know y'all in the building. Drop something in the comment. Let me know that you can hear me all right. We are in the building, man. What's good? All right. I see you coming on in. I see you coming in. I see us in the building. What's going on TikTok? What's going on YouTube? When you come on in the building, drop in the chat for me. Let me know what city and state where we're watching from. What city and state we're joining in on. Let me know that you are in. All right, giving the algorithm a little bit to catch up. What's going on? Let me see who we got in the building. What's going on? K-Join. Welcome in the building. I see y'all. I see y'all in the building now. What's good? What's good? What's good? So if this is their first time coming across my content, first time catching a live stream, I am Coach Jay with the FGC Simplified community. I am the coach with the locks. And I am the one that teaches you about federal government contracting. So tonight, we're going to talk about the mindset of being an actual federal government contractor, the mindset you need to have in having a prime or being a prime contractor in this federal government contracting space. So you have heard us said time and time again, when it comes to federal government contracting, that federal government contracting and the process we teach is an actual business. We teach you the business of federal government contracting, how you can be a federal government contractor with the federal government. You can have the federal government as now your largest customer, and you are able to fulfill their needs, but there is a mindset that you need to have. There is a mindset that you need to have once you start actually participating and being a federal government contractor. So we'll talk about it tonight. We'll talk about it tonight once you come on in the building. So tap on the screen for me, show your boy some love. Drop in the chat for me on YouTube too as well. Drop in the chat for me. Let me know where you're watching from, so I will be able to actually shout y'all out, man. Shout y'all out. Y'all take the time to stop by to actually hang out with me for a couple of minutes just to talk about federal government contracting. So for those that are new, the first time, coming across my content, you want to know what federal government contracting is and should you get into federal government contracts. I come on live every single day and I try to let people know that federal government contracting, it is available and it's out here and it's very lucrative. There are so many millionaires that are made through this business structure of federal government contracting that I am surprised that so many people don't even know that federal government contracting exists. For one, they don't know that they can do business with the federal government, who is the largest purchaser of goods and services in the entire world. Not just in America, but in the entire world. The federal government as a business is the largest purchaser of goods and services. So many people don't even know that they can actually get into business with the federal government. They don't know that. And whenever they do know that you can get into business with the federal government, they think that it's a lot of red tape, a lot of hoops that they have to go through in order for them to get in and get started. So that's what I do. I come on live and I'm sharing the information that in order to get in and do business with the federal government, there is only 3 simple steps that needs to be done. 3 simple steps that anyone that decided that they want to do business with the federal government can actually follow and be able to do business with the federal government. All right. So the first step, and for those that are new that are joining on, what's your niche? So Brandon is asking, what is the niche? Need to learn. Great, great. I see y'all in the building. Y'all in the right place. There is no niche, as well, especially at what we teach and the process we teach in our system on how to get in and start federal government contracting. For those of you that's joining in that don't know, we teach what is called the middleman process in federal government contracting. So tonight we'll focus more on the mindset that you need to have in order for you to be a middleman in this federal government contracting space. There is a certain mindset shift that needs to happen, and we will talk about it tonight. But let's cover the foundational steps first. Let's cover the foundational steps first. If you are just scrolling through, or for some reason the algorithm has pushed my content to the top of your feed, and you want to know the answer to two main questions: what federal government contracting is, and how do I get started? Those are the questions that you want to get answered, and we will answer tonight before we go into the mindset that you have to have in order to be a federal government contractor. All right. So how do we get started if we decided that, listen, I understand that the federal government is a lucrative business to be in order for me to provide goods and services to the federal government? How do I get started so I can partake in providing the need of the federal government? So if you are getting started, the first thing that you need to understand and do, you need to actually get a business off the ground. So we tell everyone the best way to start that offers you the best protection and also that would offer you the most benefit when starting a federal government contracting business is to simply get an LLC. Get an LLC. An LLC will give you a business structure, and it would also give you benefits as well as doing business with the federal government. I get asked all the time, can I do this as a sole prop? Can I do this as a sole prop? Yes, the answer is yes. You can do that as a sole prop, but there are no protections that's afforded to you. You use your social security number. You put your face and your business out there as your liability. You cover it all if you're doing business as a sole prop with the federal government. So my advice, and anyone that I'm coaching to get started inside of federal government contracting, I tell them to start a simple LLC. Start an LLC and get it registered in the state that you live in and use a physical address. So that's the first and foremost step. Get a business, get an LLC, get it registered inside of the state that you live in so you can be established to do business with the federal government. That's the first step. After that is completed, after you've gotten your business structure off the ground, and listen, on this point, it doesn't matter what the name of your business is. It does not matter what industry your business is in. So if you have a pre-existing business, it could be in healthcare, it could be in trucking. I know that most of my, shout out to my truckers out there that's inside of my community. Some of the truckers are hurting right now based off of what's going on in the economy. So even if you have a business that's in an industry that's actually hurting, you have a business in Airbnb, and with all these restrictions that's going on in these cities and states, you are hurting. You can use that business and get it inside of the federal government and now have the federal government as one of your largest customers. You can do that. So you can use a pre-existing business regardless of the industry, or if you're starting from scratch, you're listening to me and you want to get into federal government contracting, you can start a new business today, regardless of what industry it's in, to do business with the federal government. All right. So that's the first thing. That's the first step that you need to have. Now, for those that are now joining up, welcome, man. For those that are on TikTok too as well, that's watching us too as well, we have a free webinar that's coming up this Saturday. Click the link in the bio or down in the description, and you can see how you can register for that free webinar we're having. In the webinar, we will talk more about what is federal government contracting, how to get started, and what are the steps you need to do to execute and win. So step 2, once you get your business registered and filed, the next thing you need to do is just simply go to the irs.gov and you would get an EIN number for that LLC you have created. Remember, we're laying the foundational steps for what it will cost to get started in this federal government contracting space. Get a business registered in your state and then get an EIN number for that LLC. And then the third and final step is that you would now have to register that business entity inside of the federal government system called sam.gov in order for the federal government to do business with you. Remember, this is not a hobby. I really, it gets in my when I hear people talking about plays. This is not a play. This is not something. Federal government contracting has been around for decades upon decades. It may be new to you, but federal government contracting is not new. The process which we're covering right now, it is simple. That's why our whole community is called FGC Simplified, which simply stands for Federal Government Contracting Simplified. We simplify the process for you to be able to take action and get started in this space. So the third and final step is to register that business inside of the federal government system called sam.gov in order for the federal government to do business with you. So that's it. Those are the 3 foundational steps you need to do in order for you to get started in this space. Once that is done, you are inside of the federal government system. Now it's time for you to do business with the federal government. What is federal government contracting? Yes, you can use your home address. I highly encourage you to use your home address, especially when you're now getting started. In order for you to register your business in the federal government system, the federal government needs to verify who you are. We're talking about the federal government, and we're talking about doing business with the federal government. They need to verify who you are, so use your home address in order for you to expedite your way through the registration process. All right. I'm answering question you too so my TikTok family too. I am actually live on YouTube too as well. So if you want to jump over to YouTube to see my screen, to see what I'm talking about, I am trying to share this information with as much people as possible to let you know that you can actually jump in and get started today in this federal government contracting space if you want to do business with the federal government. So why would I want to do business with the federal government? Why would I not want to start a business? And I believe that everyone should be doing business with the federal government. All right. The federal government is the largest purchaser of goods and services in the entire world. In government spending, they spend trillions of dollars every year on goods and services in order for them to keep doing what the federal government is doing. So why would you not want to do a business with a customer that has and is spending trillions of dollars every single year they're spending on goods and services which we can provide? All right. So that's the reason why I'm screaming from the mountaintop that everybody should be able to get into federal government contracting. Everybody should have the federal government or do business with the federal government. If you are a business owner and you're doing B2C, business to customer, you are at the mercy of the economy. Interest rates and stuff is hurting everyone, and that's affecting your customer and what your customer could spend. Or you're doing B2B, business to business. If you're doing business to business, you have a little more leverage or a little more leeway on when you're conducting business to another business. But the place where everyone should be at is what we call B2G, business to government. The federal government is not affected by recession. The federal government is not affected by interest rates. The federal government still spends money during a recession. I hope you all understand that. The federal government still spends money during a pandemic. We just went through a pandemic in 2020, 2019, 2020, when everything else was shut down. Businesses had to be closed. The federal government was still open, and the federal government was still spending money. I know of so many millionaires that was created in the federal government space just by providing services to the federal government. PPE, cleaning services, anything the federal government needs. So that's another reason, another layer why I encourage and I will tell everyone they should do business with the federal government. They should do business with the federal government. All right. So what we're talking about tonight is the mindset that you need to have. I see y'all on TikTok. I see y'all on YouTube. I'm answering questions too as we go. Just a reminder, this Saturday, I'm doing a free webinar this Saturday on government contracting, what it is, how to get in, how to get started, so you can make a decision if you want to actually get in. If you click the link in the description in the bio, you can see how you could register for this free webinar. It will be this Saturday from 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Come show up, bring your questions and all of that. No stone will be left unturned as it comes to giving you the information you need in order for you to take action. All right. So let's jump in. I have an LLC, but my home is not a physical address. Will that be an issue? You said that you have an LLC, but it's not with your home address. I'm understanding you correctly? So if you have a virtual address, there are other red tape and hoops and all the processes that you have to go through in order for you to verify, because they have to verify you. Okay. If you have that, you would have to go through some other hoops. It's a physical address. Sure. If it's a shared space, like a shared office space, like Opus shared, community space, or like Venture X, or one of those places it's a shared working space, but it's a physical address, you would have to go through some extra layers too as well to verify to the federal government that you do business out of that space. You have a designated space that you can actually work from. But if you are new, if you have your home address, you don't have to go through all that steps, because they can just verify that you are a physical address. Home-based business. Correct. Home-based business. All right. So the first mindset that we need to tackle when it comes to federal government contracting, especially as the middleman process, which we teach. We teach you how to do federal government contracting as the middleman, meaning that we are the ones that's connecting the need of the federal government to the actual businesses that are actually going to perform the physical work. We are not doing the physical work. We teach you the process of doing federal government contracting without having to do the physical work. So one of the first mindsets that we need to have when we're conducting business with the federal government as the middleman is the business owner mindset. It's the business owner mindset. What's going on? Everything by John. He said just got his second contract. Let's go, man. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. I love it when people take the information and actually take action and be able to see results. All right. So the first mindset we're discussing today is the business owner versus the consumer mindset. When you are in federal government contracting as the middle person, the middleman process, it's not an actual consumer. So when we are providing goods and services to the federal government, our conversation to the federal government is my business is able to provide this, whatever service it is that the federal government is looking for. So if the federal government is looking for janitorial, lawn care service, anything, yes, my business is able to provide that service. When we speak to the federal government, when we're speaking to the actual subcontractors, the ones that are going to be performing the physical work, when we reach out to them to actually get a quote, we are the owners of our business. So when we reach out to that actual business owner to provide the quote, I need a quote for my business. My business is the one that's requesting the quote. So that's the difference between the business owner versus the consumer mindset. I am not reaching out to you for you to buy an iPad just for me. But I am a business asking you, can you provide me a quote to get me some iPads? Now, if you don't know, the federal government buys and procures everything. Everything from wigs all the way down to shoelaces, to toenail clippers. Everything the federal government needs, they actually puts it out there on sam.gov for us to provide to them. And yes, the federal government buys everything. So when we are approaching a consumer, a manufacturer, a distributor of whatever the federal government needs, we are there to show them that we are a business and we are conducting business as such. So someone is asking in the question in the comments, so what does the federal government look for? What type of industries and what type of services can I provide to the federal government? So let's show you. So one of the platforms we use is sam.gov. Sam.gov is the platform where we are able to find out where the federal government has a need. So the middleman process or the middleman concept, which we teach, we can provide whatever the federal government is needing. Troy is asking, how do you get around a letter from the owner? You're talking about leasing, Troy. That's a little too heavy for this type of conversation. We're talking about the mindset. That is a process, and that is some forms that you would fill out that the federal government will provide to you too as well. All right. So we use sam.gov in order for us to see what the federal government is looking for and what they're actually needing right now. So on sam.gov, which is a free website, in case you don't know, sam.gov is absolutely free. Anyone can go on to sam.gov as we speak, and they are able to see what the federal government is looking for right now. Michael has said, I'm doing Uber Black and listening to me at the same time. Listen, Michael, as long as you got one eye on the road, man, as long as you're safe and you're listening to me, yes, let me pour into you. Let me give you the information you need in order for you to actually be successful in this space. Okay. So on sam.gov, it's a free website. Anyone can go here to actually see what the need of the federal government is. So once you go onto sam.gov, you go to contract opportunities and just simply click on inactive, and we can see a listing here of all the need of the federal government. So right now, we can see that the federal government is looking for the Pioneer Campground stage removal and deconstruction. So that's the one we're looking at today. So the business owner mindset versus the consumer mindset, I am the one that's going to reach out to whoever businesses that's in the local area that's able to perform removing of a stage and deconstruction service. May that be a general contractor, that could be a moving business, it could be whatever business it is. That's who I'm going to reach out to. But when I reach out to them, I'm not going to reach out as a consumer. Remember, the mindset is that we are conducting business as business owners. We are conducting business with the federal government. So when I reach out to these local small businesses, in order for them to provide me a quote for the actual business or the product that I'm pursuing, I am reaching out as a business owner, asking them to provide me a quote as a business owner. So that is the business mindset. I'm no longer a consumer. I'm no longer asking may I and can I or how much, but I'm asking as a business owner. All right. So this falls in line with the next mindset that we need to have when it comes to federal government contracting. And this is one that I get all the time. A lot of people come into federal government contracting and they are with the mindset of they have to do the work themselves. They are winning a federal government contract in order for them to physically go out to the location and perform the work themselves. So this is the mindset that has to be shifted when you're getting into federal government contracting as the middleman. As the middleman. We are no longer trying to do the work for the purposes of scalability. Do you need a license to do federal government contract? The answer is no. You do not need a license in order to do federal government contract, because the subcontractor, the business that I'm hiring to do the work, they would already have all the licenses in place. They would already have all the insurance in place. They already have the expertise, the manpower in place. So that's why we don't need to have any licenses or insurance. Make sense? So we're talking about the mindset of scalability. In order for me to scale and grow my business as a federal government contracting business, as the middleman, the mindset is I am not trying to do the physical work, because if I'm doing the physical work, I am limited by what my hands can do. I am limited to only 24 hours in a day. I am then limited by my geographical location. This is the mindset of a middleman on why we teach the process of middleman in the federal government contracting space. In order for me to scale and grow my business in this federal government contracting, I am able to provide the need of the federal government in different industries at the same time, because I am not relying on my knowledge. I'm not relying on my expertise in a subject area in order for me to do the physical work. I hope this is making sense. I hope this is making sense. And the mindset that we have to come in when we're approaching federal government contracting. So if that is the mindset that I have, that regardless of what the federal government is looking for, I'm able to provide, because I have the mindset of scalability and I'm not trying to do the physical work. So therefore, I can scale and expand my federal government contracting business. I can then provide the federal government with whatever they're looking for in whatever state and at whatever time. I am no longer limited to those limiting factors that I talk about. My geographic location, my skill set. I'm not limited by the amount of time in a day of me being in two places at the same time. I am then able to diversify my reach by doing it in the middleman way. Yes, we are able to it. So in one hand, I can have some real estate going on in Flagstaff, Arizona. At the same time, I can have system upgrades going on in Ahwatukee, Illinois, if that's a place. So that is the mindset that we need to have. Not what I can do, but what I can manage. So the question that is asked when it comes to federal government contracting as the middleman, is that illegal? Is it illegal that we are having to do none of the physical work? Is it illegal that we are doing the middleman process? Is it illegal that we are subbing out the physical work to the other subcontractor in that area? And the answer, plain and simple, it is no. Now, I need to clarify and state my claim, because I think a lot of people get this point confused when it comes to the middleman strategy or the middleman process. We are not selling our contracts to the subcontractor. We are not giving the subcontractor 100% of the work to be done when we win these federal government contracts. Hear and understand what I'm saying clearly so everybody can get an understanding. When we win a federal government contract, only the physical portion of the contract is what we are subcontracting out. Only the physical portion. Not 100% of the contract, just the physical portion. So let me ask you a question, and you can leave it down in the comments. What percentage of a contract opportunity is constituted as the physical portion? Leave it down in the chat. Leave a comment. What percentage of a total volume of a contract is the physical work? There we go. So some people are putting it in. Some people say not sure. Very good answer. Tony says 75%. Where did you get that number, Tony? Where did you get somebody saying Kadiva saying 10%? Where did we get that number? Where did the federal government say that 10% equals physical? Where did the federal government say that 75% equals physical? the government cheese profile. The FARS. Somebody says the FARS. Using your fingers and ears to get access. I hear you. Listen, and this is why federal government contracting or subcontracting the federal government contracts is not illegal, because not even the FARS specify how much percent is physical. Look at it again. For all those, we can bring up the FARS and we can look at it. The FARS does not specify how much does physical mean. They would specify in certain contracts when it has what is called the limitation of subcontracting. The limitation of subcontracting will specify how much work, not physical work, but it will say how much work needs to be completed by the prime contractor. But it does not specify what is physical or not. All right. So that's the mindset. That's the mindset when we're talking about scalability, on how to scale federal government contracts, because the goal is to have multiple contracts going on at the same time so you can have your top line revenue increase. That's the goal on what we teach when it comes to federal government contracting. And the last and final mindset for tonight that I need people to actually understand when it comes to federal government contracting and the middleman process as we teach is the win-win-win mindset. The win-win-win mindset. Now, federal government contracting is not a zero-sum game. It is not a zero-sum business. I want y'all to resonate this with me. It is not a zero-sum game or a zero-sum business. What does that mean? That means that because I am winning a federal government contract doesn't mean that somebody else is losing, or somebody has to lose in order for me to win when it comes to federal government contracting, especially when it comes to the middleman process. Not able to secure for the webinar. It says to get with you. I'm not sure. I'm seeing a lot of people are registering right now as we make sure you're clicking on the same link. So make sure that you're clicking on the same link. Go to the link in the description, the link in the bio. The webinar is free this Saturday from 11 to 12. 11 to 12. Click the link in the description in the bio so you could be able to register, okay? All right. So it is not a zero-sum game. It does not mean in order for you to lose that I have to win, or vice versa. In order for you to win, I have to lose. It is a win-win-win mindset, meaning that the federal government is putting a need out. The federal government needs a product or a service that they have now listed on SAM.gov. It's an actual need. They need it in order for them to keep doing what the federal government is doing. They need either the janitorial services, they need the building clean, they need the building to be serviced in order for them to keep doing business in the building. Or they need the equipment to be serviced in order for it to keep functioning. So it is a need. If you understand for me that those solicitation, those contract opportunities that you see listed on SAM.gov, if you understand that it is a need of the federal government, not a want, not a request, but a need. If you need that, put a fire emoji in the comments for me. Put a fire emoji if you are understanding now that whenever you see an opportunity on SAM.gov, it is actually a need of the federal government. Yes, I see y'all, man. I see y'all. It is a need. And what is backing that need is the funds of the federal government. So the federal government has been allotted taxpayers' money in order for them to fulfill the need that they have. So when you see a need on SAM.gov, it's a need and it's funded by the federal government. All right. So that's one part of the puzzle. It's listed on SAM.gov. We understand that it's a need. Now, there are small businesses all throughout America that is in need of actual customer and revenue in their business. Would you all agree that because of I think it was the fall, November, October of 2019 is when the pandemic and all of that happened, and business and economy has shifted since then. So there are a lot of small businesses that did not survive that period. So what's the YouTube live name? Listen, if this is your first time jumping on, my YouTube, my TikTok, my whole social media presence is the same. FGC Simplified across the board. FGC Simplified. So I see some bookings coming into as well for registering for the workshop, for the webinar this Saturday. So keep doing that too as well. If you can't get in, just refresh your page and try it again. Okay. All right. So there are so many small businesses out here that needs an influx of cash in this economy as we speak right now. So when we win a federal government contract and we actually hire a local small business, we are actually injecting capital into that business's bottom line. So the federal government is winning when they get a need satisfied. They have a need they put out on sam.gov. When we fulfill that need, they are winning through the federal government acquisition system. They are winning when they're getting that need fulfilled. On the small business front, when we are now bringing the capital from the federal government, we are bringing that revenue, that funds, and we are now injecting it into a local small business. That small business is winning. That small business is able to stay open in their community. That small business is able to employ someone in our community. That small business is able to feed families because they now have a customer, the federal government, that is paying them to do what that small business does. So that small business is winning in federal government contracting. So the federal government is getting their needs met, so they are winning. The small business is now have a customer with the federal government, so they are winning. And then we, as the prime contractor, as the middleman for putting the two together, we are actually getting an pay. We are generating a revenue. We are creating an income by putting the two together. And that's how we are getting paid in federal government contracting as the middleman. So it's a win-win-win mindset. It's a win-win-win mindset. A lot of people come into this federal government contracting space and they want to know, how can they do this? How can they get into federal government contracting? How can I be a middleman to provide the need of the federal government with the actual small businesses that are actually out in the local community? So if you want to learn, remember, we are actually doing a free webinar this Saturday. This Saturday, we're doing a free webinar from 11 a.m. to noon Eastern Standard Time. If you click the link in the description, the link in the bio, you will be able to see how you can register for this live webinar. You can attend the live webinar and you can be able to ask questions and to see the process of federal government contracting. All right. So listen, YouTube, it was nice. It was fun. I wanted to come on here to let you know the mindset that you need to have in order to do federal government contracting as the middle person, so you can then be able to execute and win federal government contracts. All right, YouTube, I'll see y'all on the next one. Coach Jay's out, the coach with the locks. Let's go. All right.